An astrology event of the ages occurs on March 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern Time when Neptune enters Aries for the first time in over 160 years. This is a powerful point of creation as Neptune moves into the very beginning degree point of the full zodiac wheel. 0 degrees of Aries signals that we have moved into a new era, new experiences, fresh beginnings. And this transition happens right after the Aries solar eclipse of March 29th. So this particular movement of Neptune into Aries is taking us into new uncharted territory that Neptune, which is about spiritual growth, intuition, what is invisible and unseen. Neptune relates to what we are feeling and sensing in other dimensions. It's how we move through our lives with a spiritual understanding, with energetic presence, and an awareness that not everything is visible. Think of all the ways you read energy. You read someone's aura, or you sense if they're in a bad mood or a good mood. You pick up on the vibes when you enter a space. You can tell when an environment feels off. Neptune enters Aries and advances us into a new understanding of what we're individually capable of, as Aries is the individual, your self-identity, who you know yourself to be, what you like, what you prefer, what begins the process of creating oneself. Begins the process because the astrology signs are an unfolding journey of self-development, and Aries is the starting point for that sense of self. So there's the energy of birthing, creating, and beginning as Neptune enters Aries on March 30th. But the Neptune energy is also about dissolving the physical, removing, hiding, asking us to understand what you're really feeling and sensing beyond what you previously thought or assumed. So we are moving into new understandings of ourselves as spiritual, intuitive beings that is also forming new self-identities with these new frequencies. The Neptune energy moves slowly. So this is the first incoming wave that is going to awaken more of who you are outside of the ego or outside of a previous self-definition. And for some people, you could have a sense of who you no longer are. I'm no longer that version of myself. I'm no longer in that energy. I don't know who that was. There's a sense here of you're becoming a new version in the new energies. And you could find that you've dissolved and shifted away from previous versions of yourself, previous parts of your life. Wherever you have 0 degrees of Aries is where this transition is occurring for you. And Neptune in Aries is going to be bringing in these new gifts and new awareness around how to embody more of who you are that you haven't known before. This brings about heightened intuition because there's going to be the energy of I trust this in myself, or I'm confused about this new part of myself. Neptune is confusion. It's what you don't see clearly, and you don't see it clearly because you're meant to feel it and intuitively honor that information. Neptune in Aries is dissolving the ego, dissolving what you've outgrown in yourself so that you can have room and space for the new parts of you that are going to be entering and arriving more intensely, especially in 2026. So this is the beginning of a process of personal recreation and a new sense of self that you get whispers about, subtle hints, soft nudges. It's almost like I don't see it clearly, I don't feel it 100%, but I know it's arriving. I can sense that it's coming in. And it feels too like this Neptune in Aries is softening any of that overactive Aries energy, anything that is too competitive, too selfish, too warlike, any of these lower expressions of Aries, anything that's too self-consumed, or thinks that you have to be hyper independent, or you have to do it all on your own. Neptune comes in, softens those Aries traits, dissolves them, and actually could then require assistance, support, or help in a whole new way. Aries energy is going to be feeling this as a lessening of how you previously perhaps did something or went after something. There can be less enthusiasm or less motivation if it's only from an unhealthy ego self. If there is a more mature sense of self, if there is a part of you that is highly aware of all of your multifaceted talents and gifts, then this Neptune in Aries can bring in fresh motivation and inspiration related to those higher frequencies. But there's a sense here that there's a dissolving of any immature or underdeveloped Aries expressions. Now, I also feel this as softening the root chakra. And if we think of the root chakra as being related to survival needs, primal programming, fight or flight, safety, am I safe in my body, in my needs, in my life? This Neptune influence can also bring in your ability to trust and, again, soften some of these overactive qualities. It's a dissolving, but I feel it as it's like this elevation that occurs at the same time where I'm safe to trust this now, or I don't have to fight for something or prove something because I feel stronger and safer in who I am. So this can be where the spiritual advancement occurs with Neptune and Aries, where there is this new sense of self that has integrated more of your own spiritual awareness You're taking in everything you've been developing, learning, and applying from Neptune's transit in Pisces, 2010, 2011 until now. And now you're seeing how much you've changed and transitioned into a new version of self. And so this could be feeling that you're more spiritually integrated and that you're comfortable trusting yourself at a core level, at a gut level than ever before. And so that's why it softens and lessens any parts of yourself that you thought, were showing up in any of those lower Aries expressions. This also feels like not only does it, I keep seeing it soften the root chakra, as if instead of being a bright flaming red, it feels more like a deep rose color. Like it still has the red in it, but it's softened into some new hues and some new colors. This could show up as not having as much impulsiveness or the need for immediacy. There can be a sense of I'm okay trusting or waiting. That could be part of what is felt with Neptune and Aries. And again, the softening of this root chakra. I also been feeling that it's affecting our auras. And so as Neptune moves into Aries, the sense of self, there are some frequency code shifts around how the aura is able to pick up information and what you can sense. And so we will typically say that your aura, expands around your physical self. And there's a measurement usually of that. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it grow. This is crazy. I'm feeling it grow to look like more of a pyramid shape, where there's more of a base to the aura, a base that allows for more information to come in and stabilizing that root chakra, stabilizing that I'm safe to be here. It's interesting when you consider how many of the outer planets, have been through Aries, because we currently still have Chiron in Aries, and we previously had Uranus in Aries. Next, we'll have Saturn entering Aries May 24th, 25th. And of course, Jupiter is here every 12 years. I'm feeling this new aura that is being strengthened at a foundational level that allows us to be on the planet with a renewed sense of self and purpose that also dissolves the previous triggers, imprints, codes, experiences of that primal survival, of war, of going to battle, of how we had to fight to survive. Again, this feels for most people like it's very much about previous lifetimes, although this could certainly be strong for you in this lifetime. It just feels like we are being recoded with new base frequencies that are going to support us in being stable and strong in who we are in this lifetime. And it's connected to the higher frequencies in the cosmos too. And so that's why I'm seeing this pyramid. I honestly, when I sat down to record this video, I had some things I wanted to say, but I had no idea I'd be talking about a pyramid. So that just came through here as this new way that we connect to our own wisdom more rapidly, more clearly, more regularly. And yes, I did do a podcast a number of months ago about how we are the pyramids now. Okay, I'm just putting it together. Give me a minute to connect the dots here. So that's what I'm feeling around this Neptune in Aries, is that we are understanding how to be spiritual humans, embracing more of our otherworldly gifts and senses, grounding that in, living with that energy, owning it, accepting it, and then also being aware of our primal programming, because the fight or flight instincts has its place. It's very useful in some situations or environments, but it's usually not needed every day or as often as it used to be. So there's something about how we're upgrading that part of ourselves to be more in the fullness of, I am safe in my body, in this lifetime, in who I am. I'm safe to be me because I'm connected to my higher self and my intuition that is always navigating me in the highest and best possible ways. So as Neptune enters Aries, March 30th, and travels through the first few degrees of Aries, we're going to be sampling our new auras. You could be feeling physically different. You could be sensing some openings in yourself, as well as some shifts, especially related to any of that root chakra healing that perhaps you've had to go through. I feel like this transiting Chiron in Aries has been showing us what we've needed to heal, that was previously connected to a warrior complex, perhaps any unresolved abuse, trauma, very deep scars, the very difficult parts of self that weren't growing or maturing. Chiron comes through and shows what that weakness is and what needs to be taken care of. So for many, you've already been experiencing this since Chiron has been in Aries since 2018. So this is a big transition here into new parts of ourselves to welcome in, to love, own, accept, to feel empowered by. And you might realize some people are going to realize how much they were offline from their spiritual gifts and senses because it was shut down when they were young, especially before 7 years of age, and that you're going to feel like maybe all of that comes back because that's who you really are. I'm just seeing that people come back online with their fullness, 100%, not realizing, oh, I wasn't even operating off of my full battery. I had shut down and repressed parts of myself that were not accepted because I was told they weren't accepted, or I was made fun of, or I didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't supported. Whatever the messaging might have been. I'm feeling there's going to be a lot of people who start to feel like, I knew I could always do this, or I knew I could always trust this part of myself, And here in 2025, it comes back and you're reuniting with parts of yourself that were fragmented or pushed away, rejected. And Neptune is like, no, this is who you really are. This is more of who you really are. So just some initial thoughts to share with you here about this very big transit of Neptune entering Aries and how it will be working with us energetically, spiritually, intuitively. I hope that some of this resonates for you. Keep in mind that the way that Neptune works, it's the waves of the ocean. And so the waves come through gradually. And it could be that you sense nothing, you feel nothing, and then one day you wake up and feel a shift or a change. And that's one of the ways that Neptune tends to work. So we will definitely keep talking about this Neptune in Aries since it's such a big energy. But again, I hope this gives you some insights into what you might be feeling or sensing, as well as understanding how it's beautifully on time and that it could be a really empowering self-development journey. Thank you, as always, for joining me. And please check out my playlists here on YouTube. I have a ton of videos for you on so many different topics. And I hope that the playlists help you learn more about your astrology chart and the energies that you arrived with. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be back here soon.